What time is it? Oh, tournament time. We be gaming. We have some absolute games to follow. I'm going. Where is he? So we're looking for Hidden Trainer J. Found him. Easy. So, let's try this. In the left corner, we have Starloff Corp, the official owner of Starloff Corporation, who is also an absolute scammer. They scam single mothers for all of their money, allowing them to not be able to pay for their childcare. So, if I'm completely honest, I'm voting for Hidden Trainer J, who we have in the right corner, an absolute hero of the stream. Top, I don't know, 100 in UU. He's absolutely taking down people left, right, and centre. Win rate of 80% plus. Absolute hero of the people, constantly giving back. And yeah, have you ever seen a shaved chimp? I didn't know where I was going with that. I just saw Corp and ran with Corporation. And I was like, Corporation, scammers. Let's go with that. And then it went on to single mothers. I was like, what's the worst type of people you could scam? And I was thinking, alright, that's going to need some work. We'll get better, better. So it's going to end up front page of Sunday, well, yeah. Also, anyone got any dittos? I'm gagging for dittos. Why? Oh, for the Eevee hunt, yeah. Fair. I don't have any on me. I'm like Drill has Mold Breaker, goes through Sash and oh, does it? I didn't know it goes through Sash. What happens if I use Sturdy plus Sash, also through my brain can only surprise one. Oh, okay, fair. I'm going to quickly be an absolute sellout and put a quick messaging global. Watching the UU tourney on stream. Come join in. Smiley face, love heart, easy scam. Dragging all the MMO players into the stream and then they can never leave. Alright, so we got Starloff switching into the Poliwrath here. I would actually love to learn how to properly commentate, and then actually commentate like MMO games and stuff. Because I watch a lot of CS, and I absolutely adore some of the commentators. Like James Bardolph, DK, Machine, definitely Machine. Absolutely love him. But yeah, I'm not going to learn anything by just chatting shit about how much I'm like creaming over CSGO analysts. So yeah, let's have a little go ourselves. Starloff then moves out from the Poliwrath into the Bishop, who does receive a sleep powder from Hidden J's Venusaur. In this situation, I think... What would you do in this situation? So Starloff stays in against the Venusaur, who takes a fat hidden power. I don't know what hidden power that is, I'm going to assume fire, and Bishop does remain asleep. Starloff must be sacking Bishop at this point, because I don't understand what he would be staying in for. But I'm also not the biggest brained person when it comes to Bishop movesets. They do protect it and switch to the Flygon. Assuming they're going to be getting another hidden power fire, which they do not. They receive a Giga Drain, which was smart from S&G on the opposing side in the field. Able to recover some health and do some fat damage on the way. Oh, excuse me. Energy drinks made me buff a bit. So the Flygon of Starloff side does go for Dragon Dance, increasing the attack and speed of the Mon. While S&G does go for another Giga Drain, knocking out the Pokemon. That's a big percentage difference. The initial hit done 46.8%, with the second one taking 53.2%. That is quite the variation in damage difference, and it wasn't a crit, which is interesting to note. Porygon Z's download activates with an attack boost. What this means is Venusaur's defense is actually lower than its special defense. That's how download works. You get a attack boost based on the side of attack that your defense is weaker than. But that's not really going to be useful to Porygon Z, who is going to be a special attacker. 50% damage is pretty good though. They also have the chance of, I think it's 30% of either Paralyze, Burn or Freeze. But Giga Drain is going to heal off a large portion of that damage, doing 70% to the Porygon Z in return. Another Tri Attack comes in. Is there going to be a status condition? No, but the Giga Drain is going to be returned to take down the Mon. Starloff is in a very tricky situation here with S&G having absolutely dominating the game at the moment. I guess we missed some of the first turns, but considering it's only the Spiritomb that's been lost and the rest of the Mons are either at 100% or able to take down... Oh, I guess Venusaur's kind of low and they weren't able to outspeed to take down the Nidoking here. An Ice Beam does come in. I think that means that a Sheer Force special Nidoking may be mixed, but I would assume special. Because of Sheer Force, it removes the 10% chance to freeze of Ice Beam, and I believe increases the power of the move by 30%. I could be wrong, correct me if anyone does know. So it is mixed Nidoking, which is interesting. And that is going to take down the Empoleon. I don't know if that crit mattered, but Empoleon is a very tanky mon, so I would not be surprised if it did. The Life Orb damage is going to tick down Nidoking's health, and it is also now at -1 attack and -1 defense, as you can see there. So the Heracross comes out with a burn already activated, meaning that Guts is in play. What is the Nidoking going to do in this situation? Nothing, as it gets outsped and the fat facade comes its way. Heracross has quite the upper hand here. Except against Piloswine, now that I recognise it. I was more focusing on the Bisharp and the Poliwrath, so I don't know what Poliwrath could do to Heracross in return, and Bisharp is already quite low. Alright, I was expecting the Piloswine to be able to tank one hit because of the Eviolite, but Close Combat does come in to take it down. Again, the crit might have mattered, but that absolutely decimates it. Heracross is now at -1 defense and special defense, leaving a bit more of an opening, but 83% damage done by the Close Combat onto the Poliwrath. Now at -2 defense, it does take a fat waterfall, doing 88.5% health and taking it down. But Heracross did do a lot of work, taking down the Nidoking and the Piloswine there. But S&G is definitely in the upper hand position at the moment. Venusaur is then going to outspeed Poliwrath, an easy Giga Drain here. Even if Bisharp comes in, it's not going to be able to do anything. Yep, the Poliwrath goes down to that Giga Drain, and S&G has pretty much won this game at this point. There's not much more to say about this game. Bisharp is asleep, it's going to lose out here. Even if it somehow woke up, because that was a Sucker Punch, I believe, due to Venusaur being faster. I'm fairly certain that is the case. Sucker Punch 1 wouldn't have knocked it out, definitely not without a crit, and 2, it wouldn't have been able to take down the Rotom and the Blastoise afterwards anyway. So GG on that game, my friends. Oh, Nobra is playing! I hope Nobra plays S&G. I'm surprised he didn't come in and start spamming. Oh, Nobra's playing! Okay, we are going to watch Nobra's game. What? Top 1?! When the fuck did Nobra get top 1? In the left corner, we have fucking top 1 player in the whole of UU. He needs no introduction. He's an absolute god of the game. Dominates every single tier he plays. And in the right corner, we have Kamara, who is not even ranked, playing against the top 1 player in UU. They're the massive underdog in this game. They have absolutely nothing to lose. So why not go for the entire tournament? He's OP. Since when was he top 1? That's insane. I've never even seen this ribbon. That looks so nice as well. Alright, so let's analyse what's gone on so far. Donphan's obviously come out and fainted, but it has managed to set up rocks. Krookodil's been paralysed, I assume by a body slam from the Snorlax here. The Sigilyph is down. I'm going to assume that was their lead. Yep, looks like it. So let's see how this plays out. Oh, did you hear that audio pop? That's not good. Let's hope that gets avoided. Oh, the paralysis is horrific for Nobra. The defog comes out to remove the stealth rocks that were placed on the field. What is Nobra going to do to return? They hit a crunch, which is 47% damage. That does not take it down. The defense fall as well, meaning it will be easier to knock out next turn, but it's a bit irrelevant because I believe the Crobat should have switched out. Why did they not? So they went for the sack and then... So they got the... Okay, so they went for the pivot there in case Nobra did switch out, which he did. So it was a good prediction, to be fair. Scamax, Shower Smelly. Oh, yeah. Where's that come from, Napkins? My friend, you are not normally one to absolutely destroy me based on my smell. But I do assure you, I have been showering, my friend. I be squeaky clean. Yeah, let's see what Kamaris turns into now. They have U-turned on the Crobat, and they bring out Poliwrath. Okay, that is a good counter to the Arcanine. I don't know what the Arcanine can do in response. Maybe Wild Charge if they have it, but I'd be surprised if Nobra is packing that on his Arcanine. Maybe they could go into Bibarel here? No, they go back into the Krookodile, I assume for a sack, to be completely honest. The Toxic fails purely because the Krookodile is already paralyzed. But what can the Krookodile do to this Poliwrath? Krookodile is also weak to both, I think, both water and fighting. Most definitely fighting. Shower Stream? Maybe. We need a bigger sub goal for that, my friends. Interesting. They go for the switch into the Crobat, sorry. And Nobra also goes for a switch into a Scyther here. That is a pretty poor matchup for Nobra, being Crobat allowing an Acrobatics to come his way potentially. Also, there is the chance that Scyther is Scarfed. This is not the case, otherwise they would have stayed in, I believe. And Intimidate, which is quite ideal. If I was Karma, I would have stayed in and potentially U-turn maybe? To be completely honest, it seems both Karma and Nobra are both hard switching, predicting each other. Because an actual move hasn't been used in about 4 turns. In about 2 turns, sorry. But the Flare Blitz does come in from Nobra's Arcanine into the Crobat, taking it down. In return, I would expect the Poliwrath to come back out. Maybe the Empoleon, but I wouldn't risk that with it being neutral to fire. Poliwrath seems like the safe bet here. No, they go back into the Snorlax. They go back into Krookodile. That's a good idea because I believe the Snorlax is here to then Body Slam and spread some more paralysis. They go for the Curse, I assume predicting the Krookodile switch. So they now have +1 attack, defense, and -1 speed. The close combat does 56%, but leaves Nobra's Krookodile at -1 in terms of both defenses. Another Curse comes out from Snorlax. I think that might have been a misplay. I would have tried and Body Slammed in this case, or used a fighting move if Snorlax is packing one to take down the Krookodile. Because you're at 30% now. And I think even at +2, a close combat does take you down. If not, then I click rest right now and keep this Snorlax on the field. I rest Sleep Talk. Oh, that means he wouldn't be packing a fighting move, doesn't it? Because he has rest Sleep Talk then. If he has rest Sleep Talk, then he's got rest Sleep Talk, Curse, and Body Slam. Silo is noob. Oh yeah. Who are you throwing strays at, Prince? What's this about? Oh, the paralysis comes out, so it is unable to take down the Snorlax, allowing it to get a free rest, which is actually a massive issue now that it's at +2/+2 and at full health. I would run Woodhammer, Blizzard, maybe EQ and Ice Beam. Is this on an Abomasnow? That sounds like a good set to me. If you're running all attacking moves, then consider Assault Gear to increase your special defense. It does seem like Sleep Talk is the set for the Snorlax, considering they have just run it and then used Body Slam. So we are guaranteed that the set is Rest, Sleep Talk, Body Slam, and Curse. The Arcanine then comes out with a fat Intimidate towards the Snorlax, putting it a +1 attack, +2 defense. A close combat comes out from Nobra's Arcanine to do 48%, not able to knock it out though, leaving it again at -1 defense and special defense. A rest comes in, which is very unideal for Karma, which is brilliant in terms of Nobra, because that absolutely wastes a turn and means that Snorlax is going to go out this turn if they do not switch it, and I don't think you would risk another Mon taking damage for a Snorlax that is already asleep. I think this is a sack Mon now. Is trying to turtle Hippowdon better for Sandstream? It depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for more damage, T-Tar. If you're looking for a good like defensive Mon that has recovery and slack off, I would go Hippowdon. And because of the role Hippowdon plays, a physical defensive Mon, you could run slack off for recovery, you can run Stealth Rock, you can run EQ, you can run Stone Edge. It's quite good. Or even like Thunder Fang, stuff like that, Fire Fang, Ice Fang. T-Tar is much more offensive in that way. Considering it's also weak to fighting, it's a bit more difficult to use him as a physically defensive Mon. But then you get access to stuff like Pursuit. So it's depending on what you're looking to trade. Karma does look to protect the Snorlax here, which is a bit surprising. They look to sacrifice the Sigilyph instead, which is the opposite of what I would do. I would sack the Snorlax and protect the Sigilyph due to the high speed of Sigilyph, allowing for a potential attack to come in before it getting knocked out. It's interesting. Unless a Mon on Karma's team has Wish, I don't know how they're going to reuse the Snorlax this game. And in this scenario, it's pretty much 3v4 in this case. Yeah, with 3 very healthy Mons, Snorlax being 1 attack away, and Nobra having 4 quite healthy Mons, despite being at -2, -2. Meaning if they stay in, then Poliwrath is going to get... Poliwrath will knock you out if you stay in. Is Lapras a turtle? Lapras is a version of the Loch Ness Monster, no? I would classify yes, because of its shell. But Karma does switch from the Poliwrath into the Empoleon, with Porygon Z also coming out on Nobra's side of the field. A trick comes into play, which is very ideal. I assume it's Scarf that is being used on the Porygon Z, now on the Empoleon, with the leftovers being changed in the opposite direction. But now Stealth Rocks is also on the field, meaning Scyther is going to take a solid 50% from that, which is absolutely unideal. And Ice Beam comes out, 8.4%, means that Snorlax is able to survive. And able to survive another one, meaning it will be able to rest up potentially. It does not, as Tri-Attack is able to take it down. With that adaptability ability, I'm assuming Porygon Z is running, that allows for Stab, instead of doing 1.5 times damage, to do 2 times damage. Potentially being the difference between a knockout or not right there. Sammy is a turtle? Oh yeah. In what way am I turtle-like? Other than the fact that I never leave my shell, in other words, this desk. I could switch out Toxic for like Whirlwind to stop Salmon. Yeah, exactly that. Whirlwind is a very commonly used move. Or Raw. Raw, Whirlwind, same thing. Yeah, it's really good to deal with setup mods. So Stealth Rock, Slack Off, Whirlwind, and EQ, I guess. Nobra is staying in on this Empoleon using a T-Bolt, 46.1% damage, and in return a Scald comes into play with a 41.9% damage being returned to Porygon Z. Karma believes that Empoleon has had enough, switching back into a Crocodile, which does take a fat 85% from an Ice Beam from the Porygon, who does have the leftovers now, so they are able to recover health every time Karma decides to switch Mons instead of attacking, which is going to add up over time. I believe that Porygon Z is faster in this situation, even without Scarf, unless the Crocodile is Scarfed itself, allowing for the Moxie boost to come into play with a fat close combat being absolutely wiping the floor with Porygon Z. meaning that Karma now has a Crocodile on the side with very low health, but +1 attack due to its nature. 50% of the Scyther's health is now gone due to Stealth Rocks, and Stealth Rocks does damage based on your typing weakness to Rock. And being a bug and flying, Scyther is 4 times weak to Rock, meaning it takes the maximum amount of damage of 50%. Quick Attack does come into play though, taking down the Crocodile, but in return, Empoleon enters the field. It takes 53.9%, taking it down due to a close combat from Scyther. I think a problem I have with my team is I don't have any special defensive mons. I have 3 heavy defense mons. Could you put your team in chat again, Sentient? I apologise, I know you've told me before, but I've kind of forgot which mons are playing which roles. So that way I can like try and figure out what can be replaced and who's like doubling up on roles. So the Poliwrath from Karma does use a Waterfall to take out the Scyther, and in return an Arcanine comes out. That might seem like Nobra has the type disadvantage, which he does, but the Intimidate is able to take down the Poliwrath to -1 damage stage. The Extreme Speed also does come out, but in return the Waterfall is played, taking down the Arcanine. This game is extremely close. The Poliwrath is now on 50% health, with Bibarel going to be on 87% based on the Stealth Rock damage. I believe Bibarel's Sword Stance here. Oh, I guess not. I was going to guess Sword Stance and then Quick Attack. Is Poke Paste cool? I don't know what that is, Wendigo. I do apologise, but I don't know. Oh, wait, yeah. Never mind. It's Wendigo that I was speaking to, not Napkins. My bad, my bad. Sorry, I was looking at the message above for the name. Because I saw the turtle message, but then I just read Wendigo's message like an idiot. My bad. What team are you running, Wendigo? I'm going to make a turtle team with Torkoal, Torterra, Blastoise, and I don't know what next. Torkoal, Torterra, Blastoise. I guess he can kind of use Lapras. Cloyster. No, Cloyster is not a turtle, it's just a shell. Let me quickly check the tournament to see if NSG is playing. Hidden Trainer, Hidden Trainer. Yes! So SNG is currently playing against Kokeno, who is a top 47 player in the world. The game doesn't seem... Oh wait, it's been played for 10 minutes and it does seem like not many knockouts has occurred. Shuckle maybe? I think we talked about Shuckle, but I'm not too sure. Is it a turtle? I thought it was like a bug in a shell. Hippowdon, Mienshao, Jellicent, Reuniclus, Extral, Gengar. Wait, what was the issue? You can run specially defensive Jellicent. You can run specially defensive Reuniclus. If not, replace one of them, either Reuniclus or Jellicent, and get like a Blissey or a Togekiss. Togekiss could work. Alright, so let's have a look at this game. The Alpha Magneton is going to be running Eviolite, otherwise there will be no reason not to evolve it. And it T-Bolts, taking down the Empoleon. Venusaur does come out in return though. So what is SNG planning here? I assume a Hidden Power Fire, but I do not believe that takes down a Magneton holding an Eviolite. Kokeno is scared though, trading their Magneton for a Crobat. Sorry. With Venusaur going for the Hidden Power, I'm assuming that is Hidden Power Fire. Doing 21% damage. I can only assume that SNG is going to change Mons here. They do not want to stay in the Venusaur because then they will catch a fat Acrobatics. They took the risk in going for the default to remove rocks. I believe that was a good idea. With Rotom Fan coming into play here, being the flying and electric version of Rotom. You don't see it that often. I believe its signature move that it gets is Hurricane. It might be Air Cut. No, I think it gets Hurricane. As Rotom Wash gets Hydro Pump, Rotom Heat gets Overheat, Rotom Frost gets Blizzard, Rotom Mow gets Leaf Storm. I believe Rotom Fan's version is Hurricane. Sam smells like cheese? Maybe. I guess I need a double shower today. So Rotom goes for the nasty plot with Crobat not staying in against it. Magneton does come out in return. But does S&G have a move on their Rotom that is going to be able to take down the Magneton? I'm not so sure, to be honest. A Volt Switch comes out doing 29% damage. That's quite a lot considering that's used against the Magneton. But Rotom is, of course, +2 special attack with the nasty plot used last turn. But what do they switch into here? Potentially Heracross? No, they're going to the Venusaur again. Okay. Oh, because of the Hidden Power Fire, that makes sense. The T-Bolt comes in, taking 25% of Venusaur's health and paralyzing it. That is massive. That halves Venusaur's speed, as well as puts a 25% chance of Venusaur not being able to do anything every single turn. The Crobat comes out once again. What is Venusaur going to do in return? Switch out themselves into the Rotom. So S&G played for the double switch there, expecting the Crobat to come back out. But what do they do this time? Because I'm assuming they're not going to Nasty Plot again. Crobat switches this time into Porygon Z, so Kokeno is going to have a bit of confidence being more offensive this time. With Porygon Z being an extremely offensive one, especially in comparison to a Eviolite Magneton. However, S&G does go for the same play with another Nasty Plot. This time much more favourable. But they go for the hard switch. I'm assuming that Rotom Fan is going to be much slower than the Scarfed Porygon Z in this case. Presuming it's Scarfed, we have not got confirmation of that. But S&G does go for a smart switch being into Spiritomb, meaning that a Tri-Attack will not affect it. Dark Pulse also doing 32%, going for the flinch, but it does not get it the first time. Does it get it the second time? No. Meaning that Pursuit from Spiritomb is able to take down the Porygon Z. That Mon is gone for the rest of the battle. In return comes out Krookodile. This could be quite tricky, because Kokeno has a very good opportunity to take down the Spiritomb if S&G does not switch, activating that Moxie ability, putting Krookodile at +1 attack. Could they switch into Rotom Fan, but trying to avoid an EQ? No, they go into the Heracross. With a Crunch coming towards it. Not very effective, absolutely resisted. The Burn also chipping away at the Heracross's health. However, it is necessary due to its Guts ability, timesing its attack by 1.5%. And negating the attack drop from Burn. The reason for the trade there is because Heracross having a fighting move does make Krookodile weak to it, the close combat coming in, but Spiritomb coming out on Kokeno's side of the field, which is immune to fighting types attacks due to it being part ghost. Smelling like cheese is good, is it? Sam's Riz is unmatched. Oh, is that why I'm rizzing up the players here? That's what I'm looking to do. Just wait, I'll riz myself to commentating over VGC. Easy. So the Rotom comes out with a nasty plot being played here by S&G. It seems to be their common play. Every time Rotom has come out this game, they are going for the nasty plot. But Spiritomb goes for the payback, expecting an attack to come his way, but it does not. Instead, the setup comes out. Air Slash with 38%, they could get a flinch here. They do not. Payback is returned with 35% damage being removed of Rotom Fan's health. What is played next? With Air Slash doing 38%, that will take out the Spiritomb this turn if they choose to stay in. If not, they could potentially go to the Magneton, but at that point, I believe Rotom may be able to 2-hit KO it. Crobat would not come out, Krookodile would potentially, but no, I was completely wrong in my assumptions. Instead, they stay in to do another payback, but Venusaur comes in to replace the Rotom despite the setup. The Paralysis is going to make Venusaur quite slow, but I believe they still outspeed the Spiritomb due to it having a very, very low base speed and no speed investment. There is no viable reason why you would invest in speed in a Spiritomb. Oh, that is a very difficult turn to swallow. The Venusaur goes for the Sleep Powder onto the Spiritomb, but misses, and in return gets taken out by a Payback. You're just a pro? Oh, what, in general? See, my brain's so massive, I don't even need to play. I just rizz up actual players. I flirt my way to top 2. I don't need to be a good player, I'll just flirt with all the competition. That's what I'm doing. I just say every player is amazing, and then like, oh, thank you, Sam, that's so kind. And then easy, I'm in there. Easy flirt. So, against the Spiritomb that did take down the Venusaur, Blastoise does come into play for SNG. But how do they play this? They go for a Shell Smash. I am a massive fan of that. For anyone that does not know, I love Shell Smash. Whether it's Cloyster, Omastar, Blastoise, it's an amazing move. High risk, high reward. You can sweep teams after getting a single Shell Smash. The Payback does 56%, but does not knock out the one due to Payback doing double damage if the Pokemon has received damage this turn. Shell Smash does not do damage to a Pokemon, my friend. It just absolutely makes your stats incredible. Also, the White Herb comes into play, removing the -1 defense and special defense, allowing for Blastoise to now get to Surf Off despite a Sucker Punch. At -1 defense, that would knock out the Blastoise, but not in this case. There is no way the Crocodile outspeeds Blastoise. The Surf does come in, knocking it out. Very impressive. I absolutely love the Shell Smash play here. It's interesting they're not going into Magneton. I would assume Magneton is the best chance they have to take down the Blastoise here. So they forfeit. Quinkeno loses that match against SNG. SNG played that amazingly. I am a massive fan of the Shell Smash move. So being able to pull it out in a tournament is very impressive. So it brings me up. Just you wait until you're playing in another tournament, Prince. I'll rizz you up then, my friend. So let's see. So, excuse me, Nobra did win their game. SNG won their game. Excuse me, and Nobra is into another one, so of course we will watch that. Nobra in the right corner being the top player in UU. Of course, absolute legendary player of the game. Top 100 in, I believe, every tier but randoms last season. And we have Sparta in the left side being top 14 in UU. Nothing to scoff at there. That is a very high rating, much higher than anything I would be able to accomplish, well, across a longer period than 5 minutes. So this is going to be a very difficult game. We can see only 3 minutes into the game, both sides of the field have Stealth Rock up here. What is the situation looking for the health? So Donphan was able to get the Stealth Rock on from Jefferson onto Sparta's side of the field. I believe I recognise Sparta as the name, so that kind of says they are a very good player if I'm able to recognise it. Donphan Donphan did take some damage in the process, however, before switching into Porygon Z, who is currently sitting at 35% health. Crocodile does come out to face the Bronzong, however, with a Gyro Ball coming into play, taking 45% of Crocodile's health. Crunch is returned, able to take down the Bronzong with a critical hit and allowing Moxie to come into play. What that means is now Nobra's Crocodile now has +1 attack. And considering how early that is into the game, that is very impressive. I would be scared of a Crawdon Aqua Jet here. Or a Muck Punch, to be honest, considering Crocodile is weak to fighting. And Machamp is a very strong one. Not the fastest, not always used. I wouldn't say its usage is anything amazing, but I'm a big fan of Machamp. Because it has that no guard ability, allowing for dynamic punches to be thrown all around the place. I can't guarantee that that is the ability it is running. For this one is, of course, running Gut, sorry, with the Flame Orb ability, similar to how Heracross does commonly on most teams. Allowing its attack to be multiplied by 1.5 times, I believe. I could be wrong, it could be 1.3, but that is still a large multiplier. Especially with Muck Punches coming into play. Do they stay in with the Machamp against the Scyther, who has taken 50% health from the Stealth Rocks? I'm the champ, can confirm. Prince is the biggest champion I know. Whether it be in-game or in the stream, Prince is Well, there's a reason he's a mod, my friend. Absolute champion of the stream. So Sparta does go for the rotation option in terms of bringing out the Jellicent, ensuring that the champ does not get taken out. 60%, however, is a lot of damage. Considering... Oh, no, it was flying gem boosted. So that is going to do the most in terms of acrobatics. This turn, it is a critical hit. I don't believe that mattered in this case, but it does take down the Jellicent. Flygon now comes out. It is going to take some damage from the Stealth Rock, but it is not going to knock it out. And that puts Scyther in quite a bit of danger. The Quick Attack comes out, however. Scyther is not buffed in this case, but is able to take down multiple Mons. And the Mons left are becoming quite weak to Scyther's typing, being Bug or Flying. Machamp is weak to Flying, with both Sigilyph and Crawdon being both weak to Bug due to the Dark typing of Crawdon and the Psychic typing of Sigilyph. However, I believe the Flying type of Sigilyph also counteracts the Bug weakness, making it neutral to any Bug moves. However, Acrobatics is used in this case to take 70% of the Sigilyph's health. Scyther not loving those rocks, that is 100% true. It's similar to the case of Charizard, except Scyther is able to pull it off. Scyther just... Charizard takes so much damage from stealth rocks, it's so commonly taken down. And its speed tier isn't the best either, but Scyther just makes it work. It does seem like Nobra is able to get quite a clean game going. 28.5% is not enough to take down the Crawdon, with it returning 50% in the form of Aquajet against the Scyther. Bibarel now comes into play. I'm assuming that's because Nobra is not scared of whatever the Crawdon is able to do against it. It does get access to Superpower, but it seems to not be running it, with Bibarel instead returning with a return to take down the Crawdon, leaving only Machamp left. Machamp will be able to take down the Bibarel, going for a Muck Punch in this case, but that's only if Nobra stays in, which they might want to. To allow for Arcanine to come out next turn with the Intimidate. They don't go for the Muck Punch, which is interesting. They go for a Bulk Up. I assume that's because they believe that Nobra would switch in that case, but they do not. Nobra can now go for a Quick Attack, which could potentially take down the Machamp. It does not, but I believe Burn might this turn, allowing Nobra to win the game due to that status. As good as an ability as Guts is, it does mean you are constantly taking tick damage over time. And Nobra does win that game. Very well done. On to the next one. Is S&G currently playing? I do not see... No. So currently they are not. So until I see that Hidden Trainer J, also known as S&G, is playing, I will start hunting hordes. Let's check how the tournament's going. Oh, S&G is playing. Perfect. So on the left we have S&G, a full-time viewer, absolute legend of the stream, and on the right we have Alessic, who I don't know, and I believe may have seen a shaved chimp at some point, but I cannot guarantee that. I myself don't also believe I've seen a shaved chimp. I've seen many chimps, and I believe there are a few in the stream, being Apollo, Grov sometimes, and potentially Bobo as well. Of course, I am referring to the amount of brain cells they have, being similar to a chimp and nothing else. So, let's see how this game is going. Durant is being used. Interesting. I'm assuming they're using Hustle on that Mon, which is a very high risk, high reward ability. It means that every move you have has 85% accuracy, I believe, but also increases its damage by, I assume, 1.3 or something, maybe a Life Orb. So, S&G goes for the Sleep Powder onto Crobat. Both sides of the field do have Stealth Rocks up. What is Alessic going to do here? They could go into Rotom Heat now, because that won't be able to be put to sleep, and directly counters the Venusaur that is currently in play. No, they go into the Spiritomb instead, which is interesting. What does Venusaur do here? They switch with a Lantern coming out. I believe S&G is changing his team every game, which is quite interesting. They are not sticking with the same Mons. Apollo bad? Maybe a little bit. I renamed it. Oh, nice, Linky. I'll be happy to see it, Sentient. the absolute god Rattata. That's a very interesting name. Fair enough. But yeah, let's get back into the game. With, I believe it was Payback being used. Let's open my battle chat here so we can see more clearly. It was a Payback with Scold coming into play in return. But now Volt Switch against the Pursuit. Meaning that Spiritomb can now Pursuit again, and that will confirm the kill onto the Lantern. Don't worry, Senzin, we saw it. It's a very interesting though. Love the Rizzler. But Lantern is very weak in this case. Did they go for the Pursuit? I believe they went for the Pursuit, but it did not attack the Lantern. I'm not understanding why. Because I did not see the Spiritomb make a play that turn. S&G does use Giga Drain on the Spiritomb to recover some of the health it has lost earlier in the game, but Psychic comes into play, which is going to do 46% health with Venusaur being weak to it. That does mean that next turn, despite a full Giga Drain... No! I have eaten my own words straight away with Giga Drain, able to take down the Spiritomb. I did not think it would have. Initially, it done 21% and now 38%. That must be because of the Overgrow ability that Venusaur have. Means that below a third of Venusaur's health, Grass-type moves damage will be increased. Durant comes out in response. It does not have Intimidate, which I believe Durant does have access to, but I believe that means it does use the Hustle ability, which is the high risk, high reward one I was mentioning earlier. I don't believe Venusaur is going to be able to do much against this Durant. I would personally switch into the Arcanine, as Durant is 4 times weak to fire, and the Intimidate will go a long way to weakening its physical moves. No, Lantern comes out instead with the idea behind this being that Lantern is sacked, but an avoided attack being able to save it there. Living by a slither of health from Stealth Rocks, but of course the Lantern is sacked in the end to an X-Scissor. That first miss of the X-Scissor from Durant is exactly why Hustle is high risk, high reward, because it does increase the damage of moves, but does make the chance of missing much, much more likely. Normally X-Scissor has a 100% accuracy, but in this case it does not. Hey, how you doing, Valdlis? Arejo? I'm going to call you Arejo. I assume that's how you pronounce your name. If wrong, do feel free to correct me, my friend. But yeah, how are you doing? Hope you are enjoying the stream and have had a wonderful day. I thought Durant was truant. I believe that's its hidden ability. But no, it does get access to Hustle, which is the more popular ability in PvP. Again, because of its high risk, high reward. Some players like that risk. Like a bit of a gamble when it comes to winning games. But of course that does come at the cost of consistency. It does seem like both sides of the field are taking a while to decide what they do this turn. Because Arcanine could go for a Flare Blitz here, and if the Durant stays in, then it will be going down. There's absolutely no way it lives a Flare Blitz. But I don't really know how much damage Durant will be able to return if Arcanine does not go for a fire move in this case. I would assume quite a bit, providing it is able to land a hit. Because Durant does have a very wide moveset, being able to learn quite a few moves. I believe EQ is also a part of that moveset, which Arcanine would be weak to. I also think it's the same case for Stone Edge, potentially. But again, we all will have to wait and see. Durant is, of course, not at -1. Could that be because of Truant? Let me just double check and make sure I am spitting facts instead of lies. There's a lot of shiny ones, oh my god. Jolly, Hustle. Yes, a lot of them will use Hustle. But I'm interested to know why they aren't at -1 with the Arcanine. The Arcanine does stay in for a Flare Blitz, but Alisic does sacrifice their Crocodile instead of the Durant. Which is probably a wise decision, I do say. Poliwrath comes out. We have seen in a couple games now that Poliwrath does kind of counter Arcanine in these situations. You can get an Arcanine that runs Wild Charge, but it is quite a rare sight indeed. I believe in this case Venusaur may come out. How low is it? 44%. It's a potential thing to go into, but Heracross does instead. With Poliwrath doing what in return? Hitting a Psychic! Is this mixed Poliwrath? I have not seen mixed Poliwrath before. Very interesting. There's no way it's purely special. Absolutely none. But very interesting to see the Psychic come out. What does Heracross do in return? It does have more than the 38% that was done by the Psychic, meaning it does live another attack. A Facade does come in against the Poliwrath with a crit, but that does not finish it off, only doing 77% damage. With Psychic, then again, also not returning the KO. Burn does also not knock out the Heracross in this case. I believe the S&G should just go for another Facade in this case, being the faster mon, able to take out the Poliwrath. If they switch, it's just free damage. At this point, you're going to get knocked out by Burn. You go for the close combat, which is entirely fair. You might survive Burn. I can't remember how much Burn does, maybe 4%? Oh no, you do get knocked out with it, taking 6%, I believe. So both sides of the field are going to be switching mons due to them both being knocked out this turn. They will not be able to understand who they are switching in against, however. It's pretty blind in this case. The Durant comes out against the Empoleon. I believe that's a beneficial matchup for Alisic, providing they do have access to EQ. However, the Empoleon could go for Scalds here and then potentially burn Durant, making it quite useless. The Superpower does come out, however. That is going to take down Empoleon, as it is weak to fighting. That's a terrible hidden ability. Truant is a terrible hidden ability. You start your game, Nobra? Absolutely perfect. We'll watch just after this game, as it does seem to be finishing up. Okay, so I believe, yes, so the Empoleon goes down, meaning Blastoise then comes in. Another Superpower comes out, but it is avoided, which is absolutely perfect with the Shell Smash coming into play, meaning that Blastoise does not take any damage and is able to set up in this case. It will now outspeed the Durant, and I would say be able to take it out. Durant's speed is one of its biggest assets, 75.8%. That is enough to take it out based off the... No, Superpower did not affect it, that calculation, due to it only doing attack and defense, not special defense, which would have been used for the Surf of Blastoise. But Blastoise is now +2 in speed, special attack, and attack, and not negative on the defenses due to the setup. And Alisic is forfeited, meaning that S&J has also won that game. We do know that Nobra has also gone into his game, so let's watch that. This is where the music starts changing, boys and girls. This is where it starts getting very serious. This is the semi-finals, I believe. Let me just fact-check that for you all. No, it is the quarterfinals. I am misjudged. I do apologise. But this still is the very late stages of the tournament. So let's see how this goes. Nobra has lost his place at top 1, now being a veteran. I don't understand how that's happened in the space of a tournament. I believe that must be a bug. But I'm going to call him Jose? Jozu? Jozu. I'm going to say Jozu. I could be wrong in the pronunciation of his name, but do forgive me if so. The Porygon Z goes for a trick here, taking the Eviolite off the Bronzor, not the Bronzong, putting a Choice Scarf off it. This does heavily reduce its defense and special defense due to that Eviolite doubling the stat total of them. Hey Ninetales, how you doing, my friend? We are currently very much enjoying commentating over these games, which could potentially be a video on the YouTube sometime soon. So if you do want to be in the video, do make sure to put Hello YouTube into chat, and you will potentially be featured. But yeah, I hope you do enjoy the stream and have a wonderful evening, Ninetales. It is great to see you. The Crunch does come out from Nobra's Crocodile into the Quagsire. The Quagsire being water and ground, having many neutral types against it, but being 4 times weak to grass, which is 2 notes. However, I do not believe any mons on Nobra's side of the field have any grass moves to deal with this mon. The second crunch does come out though to do 41%, however the recover of the Quagsire does recover more health than what is taken, meaning they could easily stall that. As well as the leftovers, again that's just more health that the Quagsire is saving. Again, a crunch does come out. I believe Nobra is farming for the defense drop here, which would go a long way into taking down the Quagsire. But more recovers are just coming out on Josu's side of the field. 59%, so a crit does come into play, and a defense drop. That is absolutely massive. That means they must switch now if they want to save the Quagsire. Saying that, I do not believe unless another crit comes in that Quagsire goes down to 1, but the -1 defense is massive in this case. They do switch into the Bronzor. They are going to take quite a bit of damage if the crunch comes in. Yes, 69%. Despite being a really good typing, another defense drop does also come in, and the psychic typing does make it neutral to dark moves. The crunch spam does seem to be working in this case, with Crocodile able to take down the Bronzor, allowing for the Moxie boost to now come into play, putting Crocodile at +1 attack. The Quagsire does come out again, taking some chip damage from the Stealth Rock. However, this does mean more crunch spam, I believe. I cannot remember the PP number of crunch. I believe it's 16, but it could be 32. Waterfall is returned onto the Crocodile, doing 57.9%. It does not live another Waterfall. But neither does Quagsire. It does! Quagsire lives a crunch on 1% health. That is massive, because now Crocodile is going to go down. It does not. Never mind, I thought the Waterfall would have come into play, but it does not. The recover does instead. Again, more recovers are coming. Despite the -1... No, there is no defense drop. Forgive me for that, I believe there was. The attack boost on Crocodile is still active, of course. But the crunch spam is still happening. Okay, the defense drop is now into play. Recover is still being spammed, but that will not save them over time. The multiple defense drops that will come into play, as well as the attack boost, are going to start adding up. 65% now. What was it doing originally? Like 30, with like 30, 40%? It's now doing 60% per crunch, which is massive. However, the Crocodile does go down now to a Waterfall. This does open the opportunity for a revenge kill, being at -2 defense now on the Quagsire, but I believe they will switch this turn to protect it. Your editor better put me in the vid. YouTube. Oh, what? My editor in terms of me? I don't really have an editor at the second. You could use PP up on crunch, mate. Yeah, it wouldn't be infinite. Even after using PP up or PP max on a move, there is a set limit that it will go up to. The return does come out from the Bibarel onto the Quagsire, taking it down. But the Rotom Fan now comes into play, which is going to be a massive weakness for Bibarel. I believe the Rotom Fan will be faster and have electric type moves, of course, which will do massive damage to the Bibarel. They could go for the Nasty Plot on Josu's side of the field, predicting that Bibarel will switch out, which I believe might be the play, as of course Nubra does switch out into a Donphan in this case. An Air Slash comes out instead, however, doing 53%. That does mean that Nobra will go down this turn unless they do an Ice Shard or some form of priority to do some form of chip damage. But the Donphan is also toxic, meaning it is on a timer as well. But of course it will be slower than the Rotom in this case. I believe Nobra did kind of suspect the Nasty Plot coming into play there. But it was unfortunate, as that has cost him his Donphan. This Rotom is going to be very difficult to be dealt with. The Porygon Z comes into play. I'm not sure who wins this speed battle. Potentially the Porygon, but I believe it has Eviolite on it instead of the Choice Scarf now, due to that trick that was done on the Bronzor earlier in the game. Leaving the Rotom potentially to be faster. I do not know if they're scarfed, but I would suspect it, with the Air Slash potentially being spammed. The issue with Air Slash is that it also comes with the additional factor that they could cause flinching. So if you are faster and you are able to spam Air Slash, that means that flinching is a massive thing that could happen. But they do not risk it, and they go for the switch into the Tentacruel, which does tank a Tri-Attack, only taking 28.9% damage. The Toxic is starting to build up on the Porygon Z, however, so they will be taking chip damage over time. Another tri-attack comes in, taking another 29.4% damage. There is also the additional benefit of a potential status condition being applied onto the Tentacruel, but that does not happen in this case, with the Rapid Spin coming out, removing hazards off the field and increasing the speed of Tentacruel. I'm unsure if Tentacruel now outspeeds Porygon. They do, and they go for another Rapid Speed, which is interesting, so they want the double speed, knowing that they tank another tri-attack, but a status condition would be massive in this case. And Toxic is only doing more and more, as it is badly poisoned. The Toxic damage doubles each turn that the Porygon Z is in play. The Tentacruel, I would suspect, outspeeds now. It does, using Scald to take down the Porygon Z. I am unsure how Nobra is going to play this. Bibarel is going to have to put in some work. If they... I believe they do survive a Scald, however, I'm not sure if a return will take out the Tentacle in return, funnily enough. The knockoff comes out, meaning the Silk Scarf is taken off. Sword Stance comes into play, meaning that the Bibarel is now +4 thanks to its simple ability, doubling any stat changes that happen to it, both positive and negative. The Toxic comes in, putting the Bibarel on a timer. A double Sword Stance, so now a +6 attack, which is the highest stage of attack you can be at any given time. The Black Sludge is recovering some health for the Tentacruel, but the quick attacks are going to start coming into play, taking 39% damage and taking down the Tentacruel. I would be very surprised if Alakazam can take any quick attacks, being +6 from the Bibarel, and Alakazam being very weak on the physically defensive side. Tauros, on the other hand, I believe will be able to take a quick attack. I'm not so certain about Rotom, but I don't know why it wouldn't be able to tank one, potentially. But +6 is a massive stat change. There is not many times you would take that into consideration other than simple mons such as the Bibarel. What does Josu switch into against the Bibarel? Because at +6 and quick attack spam, that does mean that they are getting the stab bonus of 1.5%, 1.5 times the amount of damage they would normally do due to the normal typing. I believe this might be GG if I'm completely honest. Nobra may have just won. The Intimidate? No Intimidate coming out. Tauros does get Intimidate. I am going to be unsure on what Tauros is running then. But it is not able to take out the Bibarel, despite 80%. Despite 46% damage coming out even. But Toxic is able to finish it off, with Tauros unable to be taken out by a quick attack, despite the +6 stat change of Bibarel. Scyther now comes in, which is going to take massive damage of 50% from the Stealth Rocks. Yes, that is a very smart play, just going for the priority to clean up the Tauros and do the revenge killing there. However, Rotom does come out now, and I believe that Scyther is going to be slower than the Rotom, and even a quick attack will not take the Rotom out in this case. No, Scyther is faster. Despite the Flying Gym boost, it is not able to take out the Rotom, leaving Arcanine in the 1v2. Arcanine is healthy, however, but I do not believe that it will be able to outspeed Alakazam. It may outspeed the Rotom, with Scyther also being faster, but Alakazam, I believe, will outspeed the Arcanine here. It depends on how much damage E-Speed is going to do to the Arcanine, as it does take out the Rotom fan here. This is a very, very close game, taking it all the way down to a 1v1. That is a very nice particle effect. I love that on the Alakazam. Very matching with the theme of Alakazam being a very, very wise Pokemon, having a third eye as such. But in all honesty, I believe Alakazam wins this 1v1. I do not believe they... Well, it depends, honestly. I don't believe they survive two extreme speeds. Meaning that if Arcanine is able to survive one attack, I assume a Psychic or such, potentially a Psy Shock, depending on what Alakazam is running. They do have Sash, as that takes 99.2% of the 100% Alakazam's health. Taking it down to Sash. Does Arcanine survive? The answer is yes, meaning that Nobra has won this game. GG. As there is nothing the Alakazam is able to do with E-Speed being a priority move. And 100% accurate, meaning that they are unable to respond. GG, I completely agree there, Prince. Yeah, Josu is forfeited, not giving Nobra the satisfaction of knocking out his last mon. Let's see if SNG is playing. The answer is no. They're going to be the last matchup in the quarterfinals. Looking at the other opponents as well, so it will be Lazaro and MKNS that will face either Nobra or SNG if SNG wins his game. We are obviously looking to cheer on SNG and Nobra here. Yes! Okay. So, now we have SNG versus Quest. It seems it's been going on for a minute and there's already been a knockout in Electros. I'm going to assume the Medicham provided that knockout. I can't tell you what moves they did use though. But they have gone down very early. Donphan has now taken its place. But what is the plan? Are they going to try and get Stealth Rocks up or something else? We can only find out. Medicham's common sets, I believe, include Ice Punch, Zen Headbutt, maybe Close Combat. I believe that's the fighting move it gets. Yes, of course it does, as we can see here. That does 96% damage. That does drop its defenses. And the Life Orb damage is going to mean it takes a lot of damage now. That chip damage from Life Orb may have mattered, with Donphan doing 71% with the EQ and just about hanging on past the Close Combat. Yamega is a very fast Pokemon and does have access to the Speed Boost ability, but is also naturally faster than Donphan in the first place. They could also be running Tinted Lens, which means that non-very effective moves damage are in fact increased. The Bug Buzz comes out here to finish the Donphan. I do see a Cloyster. I would be very surprised to see if that is a Shell Smash Cloyster or not, but I do also see the same Blastoise, which also means there is potentially 2 Shell Smash Mons on this team. However, SNG has had a very rough start to this game. They have switched out for a Stoutland now, I believe, instead of a Crocodile. How are they going to play this? It's very interesting to see Stoutland not on a Sand team as well, because they normally get Sand Rush, which doubles your speed in Sandstorm. I could not tell you what ability that Stoutland is currently rocking, but it is very bulky and surprisingly fast for how chunky this little dog is. Yamega could decide to stay, I guess, and Bug Buzz to try and get the Spadef drop, but Quest does not decide to do that and instead brings in the Empoleon. A return coming in from Stoutland doing 62%, that is a lot of damage. It is a crit, but it is resisted by the Empoleon. I believe, yeah, the resistance there means that they do survive. But that is a lot of damage to be taking. Quest is, of course, having the upper hand at the moment with some very healthy mons and only 1 mon knocked out. The return does take out the Empoleon in the end, leaving the tie between the two teams very, very even. All mons on both sides of the field are now extremely healthy, not taking a point of damage, resetting the game into a 4v4 format. A return comes out into this Feraligatr doing 74%. I can only assume that Stoutland is choice banned due to spamming return and doing so much damage. The Feraligatr has Dragon Dance, meaning they could outspeed the Stoutland now and also be at +1 damage. They go for the superpower, they do outspeed and take down the Stoutland here. This is going to drop the attack and defense of the Feraligatr, however, allowing for the potential of Cloyster to come in. Personally, I would go Cloyster and Shell Smash if you have that move. And then you can Ice Shard next turn. I believe they die to an +2 Ice Shard. I'm going to assume that S&J here is going for the same strategy that I'm mentioning, but on a different mon, being Blastoise, which we know from previous games does have Shell Smash. So Fraligator goes for the Dragon Dance, putting it at +2 speed. The Blastoise here is going to go for the Shell Smash, also having +2 speed, +2 special attack, and +2 attack. The White Herb that it is holding also negates the defense and special defense drops that it would have suffered otherwise. Fraligator is already very weak, of course, so a Surf could also take it out. Fraligator is faster, going for the superpower, doing 78%. That is not enough to take out the Blastoise, meaning that it is going to get traded here and leave S&G in a very, very good position to sweep. Because none of the final 3 Mons get access to any priority. Yamega is very fast, but I don't believe it outspeeds Blastoise at +2. Snorlax is, however, very, very bulky in the special defense department. So I am unsure if Blastoise will be able to take it out. It does not, doing 62% of its total health. The Body Slam comes out in return, taking out the Blastoise. What does S&G do here? They could go Cloyster and go for the Shell Smash, but the Body Slam paralysis chance would ruin the game. It seems like that's what they're going for. They're going to risk it, I believe. But the Body Slam could completely put this game to bed. They go for a Rapid Spin. They do not go for the Shell Smash, which is interesting. The Body Slam is going to come in still, meaning that Paralysis is still on the table. It does not this time, but there is always next turn. This screams to me that this Cloyster is much more defensive than I believed, with Rapid Spin being on the moveset. It kind of means that I don't believe they have Shell Smash available, but they are now going to be faster. Well, they were faster anyway, but I believe they're preparing for the Yanmega, because a Rock Blast or an Icicle Spear would do massive damage with Yanmega, I believe being 4 times weak to Rock and 2 times weak to Ice. The issue is, though, taking down the Snorlax here. With Flygon also being weak to Ice, Cloyster is in an amazing position, providing that Snorlax can get taken off the field. Snorlax tanky boy, that is completely correct, my friend. The Icicle Spear does come in, only doing 19%, however, hitting all 5 times thanks to the Skill Link ability. Thankfully, Paralysis does not happen on the Cloyster, allowing for another chance at the Icicle Spear. Snorlax has 26.6% health, meaning that another Icicle Spear would only kill if a critical hit occurs. 24.6% does not take it out. That's very unlucky. The rest comes into play, meaning that Snorlax is then returned to 100% health. If Cloyster does somehow still have Shell Smash on the moveset, then I would 100% click it here, as it will be potentially free. As Snorlax will go for a Sleep Talk here, however, it may get rest, meaning the move will be null and void, which would be very ideal for the Cloyster. They are doing 32%. The damage does seem to be increasing every time they click the move, but that is, of course, a variable when clicking a multi-hit move. Each hit will do a variation of damage. The only real option here is to keep spamming Icicle Spear. That does 14%. That does not take out the Snorlax, but goes a very long way to taking it down. Body Slam 27%. Okay, so that does not paralyze the Cloyster, which is absolutely amazing, allowing for Cloyster to actually take down the Snorlax in the end. That crit was massive. I believe that is huge in making this game go slightly towards S&G's favour. However, if the Yanmega does outspeed the Cloyster, then that is a massive issue. It does not, with an Icicle Spear coming in and completely taking down the Yanmega due to its weakness, and also not being very strong in the defensive department. Flygon now comes in. It will be slower and also weak to Ice again. If another Icicle Spear hits, then that is GG, I believe it is. S&G wins this game against Quest and will be joining Nobara in the semi-finals. GG, my friends, an amazing game. Oh, yes! Yes, this is exactly what I wanted! So if S&G wins and Nobara wins, then they face each other in the finals. Yes! I hope they both win their games. Okay, so we are going to watch Nobara first, as he did say, and I promised we would. So, why am I messing this up? I need to be fast, 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 because these games do not last very long. There we go, Nobra, Nobra, Nobra. Nobra is, of course, the top 1 player in UU against MKNS, who is currently unranked, it seems. I do not know who they are, but of course we are voting for Nobra in this game. There has been 2 minutes gone of this game, and from what I see, only Donphan on Nobra's side of the field has taken damage, being taken down to 45.8%. And on the opposing side of the field, it seems to be the same situation with MKN's Donphan also being at 46%. The Brave Bird comes in for the Crobat against Nobra, but does not take out the Donphan, being able to return Stealth Rocked. I do also notice the Crobat is called Madara, which is pretty cool. The Head Smash! Wow, I have not seen a Donphan run Head Smash. That is very interesting to see. So the Head Smash takes out the Crobat, but does also knock out the Donphan. But rocks are also up, so Donphan has pretty much done his job. He's taken down a very important mon to MKN's team, and also got rocks up, which is absolutely perfect. The Porygon Z comes out as well as the Medicham. I believe this is a good situation for Nobra here, being that a close combat could go into the Porygon Z. However, Nobra does decide to switch out into the Mismagius, predicting a tri-attack, which the Porygon Z does go for, meaning that is not affecting the Mismagius due to its ghost typing. MK does switch into a Machamp here, expecting a Shadow Ball, but Nobra does predict that, assuming they go for a Thunderbolt. A Shadow Ball does come into play, doing more damage due to that stab and Ghost Gem bonus. Stone Edge is returned, but does not take out the Mismagius. I believe that means unless the Machamp is swapped, then MK is going to risk losing the Machamp for the rest of the game, and being in a quite bad position. Get smacked on the Dome Crobat? Exactly, you got absolutely smashed. I would have never predicted that. Mismagius does go... What? The Machamp lives on 1 health. Survives a Shadow Ball from the Mismagius, and then misses a Stone Edge, putting it in the same position it was in. It was lucky to survive the Shadow Ball, but unlucky to then miss the Stone Edge. The T-Bolt then does finish the Machamp off. That is a very safe play, as Shadow Ball is risking the fact that Porygon Z could have come in and nullified that attack. Crawdon is now in play, potentially Pursuit trapping the Mismagius. If it is running it, it is not. It is running Aqua Jet instead, taking down the Mismagius. So who now comes out on Nobra's side of the field? They have a Durant, Krookodile, Empoleon, and Medicham left. The Medicham comes into play, which is interesting, as Crawdon has the Dark typing, which is superior and super effective against Psychic typing. However, it is also weak to Fighting, which is where the matchup here comes into play, because the close combat will definitely take down the Crawdon, and we can tell it doesn't have Sash, one because that's not really a item that Crawdon will typically hold, and also because it has already taken damage from Stealth Rocks. MK does switch into the Donphan. Will it survive a close combat here? I don't believe it does. No, 40%. The Donphan is gone for the rest of the game. With the Medicham now being at -1 defense and special defense, is it going to be hanging on for a second turn, or is Nobra going to switch it out? I guess it depends on what MK decides to put in now. But purely based on hazards on the field, mons that are healthy, I believe that Nobra does have the upper hand here. But it will, of course, be interesting to see what MK does decide to do in this situation, because Crawdon is going to be weak to the Medicham. I can only assume that an Aqua Jet is going to be coming in. I'm not entirely sure if Crawdon outspeeds the Medicham. I'm going to assume it does, considering Nobra seems quite scared of it. But the shiny Durant now comes into play, tanking an Aqua Jet, taking 46.9%. And despite its appearance, Durant does have a very high speed tier. I believe it's 102 base speed. I could be wrong on that though. The superpower does come out, taking down the Crawdon. That does reduce the attack and defense of Durant, meaning that if Porygon Z comes out, it may be more difficult to take it out with another superpower due to the lowered attack it now possesses. Stealth Rock is also going to assist in that, however. Oh, with Superpower does come out and is able to take down the Porygon Z. Meaning that it is now a 1v4 in Nobra's favour. Cringe Quest. That is very funny considering the last matchup we saw was Quest versus SNG, of course. The Rotom Heat is definitely going to take out the Durant in this case, being a fire type. Providing it overheated, which is actually the wrong play to take. Due to it reducing the special attack of Rotom, they go for the Nasty Plot instead, increasing it, which is the complete opposite of the effect that Nasty Plot would have had. The Hone Claws does increase the attack to -1, but the Superpower then does decrease it again to -2, meaning that it is unable to take out the Rotom with a Thunderbolt, returning the favor and dismissing the Durant for the rest of the game. Crocodile now comes out to potentially finish the game. A crunch of 35.9% does finish the game. We will be seeing Nobra in the final of the UU tournament. I cannot wait to see who he is facing. But of course, we are going to see the next game straight away as it is also being played. How is SNG doing against Lazaro, sorry. I do recognize that name. I do remember this name coming up when we are looking at top 100 players. It seems, just straight off the first glance, that SNG does has the upper hand here, which is exactly what we want. We want to see that SNG Nobra final. But let's see how this goes. They protect the Venusaur? Oh no, sorry, the Venusaur was already knocked out. There was just a bit of a visual glitch showing it on the field, but Druddigon is now out instead. I believe Druddigon normally plays rough skin and is typically very bulky on the physical side. So what can Crocodile here do? It does have the +1 from the Venusaur knockout, but it does not stay in. It chooses to switch to... Oh, that is massive! Missing the Dragon Tail, meaning that they are unable to take out the Empoleon. Allowing a free switch in here, potentially meaning Ice Beam could be coming, which would be very unideal if Empoleon outspeeds Druddigon, which I would not be surprised about. Did you get a shiny yet? No, we did not, Lotus. We are currently spectating the UU tournament as we are watching SNG and Nobra play. If SNG is able to win this game, they will be playing Nobra in the final, which would be absolutely amazing to have two viewers of the stream playing against each other. The Ice Beam does come in from Empoleon, but is unable to take out the Druddigon, leaving it on 5% health, and the Dragon Tail returning the favour, dismissing Empoleon from the rest of this battle. That does leave Druddigon very, very low in terms of health, however. There is still the potential of a comeback, but SNG does seem to have the massive upper hand in this game, having many more healthy mons. And of course, the Shell Splash Blastoise still being in the back, but Crocodile is always a scary mon. The close combat comes in, reducing the attack and reducing the defense and special defense of Crocodile, sorry, but also increasing the attack with the Moxie coming into play. The Rocky Helmet does chip away some health, but not that much, and has allowed Crocodile to kind of set up in allowing it to get the revenge kill on the Druddigon. Ambipom now comes into play. I'm expecting a Fake Out to stall the Crocodile and do some damage, because Fake Out will ensure that a flinch happens. No matter whether they switch mons or not, they will not get a turn now. Providing that SNG does go for the Fake Out, of course. Which they may not want to. They could go for a close combat here. But I believe that would be very risky. I believe the Fake Out is the safe play. You've got the lead at the moment. You might as well just get some chip damage with the Fake Out. They do go for the Fake Out. 47% from a Fake Out is absolutely massive. I also believe Ambipom does outspeed the Flygon unless it is Scarfed. If the Flygon is Scarfed, what does it do in return though? Does it go for an EQ? If so, then that allows SNG to get the free switch in on Electros, but the Dragon Claw could be the safer play here. Ambipom goes to the Quick Attack, taking down the Flygon, doing 25.8% of its total health. Allowing for Crocodile to come back into play, no longer having the negative defense debuffs or the positive attack buff from the Moxie ability. allowing an equal playing ground. However, if Crocodile outspeeds here, which I believe it could if scarfed, then the close combat would take out the AB Bomb, I believe. Electros does come into play. It is going to tank a close combat. 56.6% health is a lot. Electros is also a very, very slow mon, so it is going to get knocked out this turn, I believe. But that does come out with the positive benefit that the defenses of Crocodile are now dropped due to the close combat. However, again, the Moxie boost is there from sacrificing the Electros. However, this could be a very smart play because the defenses have been dropped. This allows Ambipom to come back into the game and fake out again. Even if they switch into the Porygon Z, that's going to be a lot of damage. But no, instead, Blastoise comes out. Are they going to Shell Smash? The Crocodile is +1 here, but I do not believe it is able to take out the Blastoise. The Blastoise will not be at negative defense and special defense from the Shell Smash due to its White Herb it is carrying. The close combat does knock out the Blastoise. This is starting to get quite scary. The Crocodile is now at -3, but also at +2. This could also be a part of SNG's plan, however, to allow Fake Out to do the knockout blow. I'm not too sure, however, at the moment. Hey there, Mike. How are you doing? Are you able to see ahead of me? Oh, please don't spoil the game then. I'm quite enjoying being in time with it. I don't want any spoilers, please. The AB Bomb does come out. I can only assume that a Fake Out will come out. This should take down the Crocodile potentially. And if it does, then that will be massive towards winning the game. But if Porygon Z comes out instead, then that would also take a lot of damage. The Double Edge comes out instead of the Fake Out. So Ambipom was faster the entire time and able to take out the Crocodile due to its -3 defense stat. The Porygon Z is also asleep. That is massive. I believe that does mean GG for this game. Double Edge does take out the Porygon Z, and that is the game. We will have SNG versus Nobra in the final. 2 viewers of the stream. I could not be happier that they have made the final. It's going to be very difficult to see who we cheer for here, as they are both good friends being a part of the community, and both in the final. That is absolutely mad. Spoiler, I win. I wouldn't be surprised, Lotus. Lotus comes from the side and easily wins the tournament. Can confirm. Bosh. We have Nobra versus SNG. 2 members of our community facing each other for the final of this UU tournament. The winner gets a 6x31 if they so choose Spiritomb, as well as 1000 RP, with second place getting 500 RP, I believe. That is a massive difference in prize, and of course the glory that comes along with it, as well as the pride. So let's see how this starts. So they go for the Arcanine into the Empoleon, with SNG's Cloyster being switched into the Druddigon. This is a very good matchup for Nobra, being that the Ice Beam could come into play against Druddigon here. I will move my mice out of frame here so it is a bit cleaner to view. The Druddigon does switch, expecting the Ice Beam, going into an Electros. Stealth Rock comes out, however, meaning that Hazards are now on the field, and only Cloyster on SNG's team has Rapid Spin. Meaning that Hazards are going to be very difficult to remove. SNG could try and risk bringing Cloyster out now, but that allows for the free switch-in. Empoleon does switch, expecting a T-Bolt, potentially. Arcanine comes out instead. Yes, the T-Bolt does come out, dropping the attack of Electros, but not really mattering, with this Electrox seeming to be a special attacker. The T-Bolt doing 60% of the health, but not paralyzing this Arcanine. A Flare Blitz is then returned, doing 87.2% of the Electros' health. A lot of recoil coming out, and the T-Bolt able to finish it off. So as of now, SNG does have the upper hand, but Electros is very, very low, and Hazards are on their side of the field. Porygon Z will most definitely outspeed the Electros here, and as SNG has no Ghost type, the Tri-Attack is a free move to hit here. The Electros is, of course, taken down with having such little health. The 12.8% of Tri-Attack not being very hard to hit. What comes out in response to the Porygon Z? Potentially Ambipom to get the fake out, and then I don't know. I believe the Ambipom. Well, we know from last game that it's able to double edge here and take out the Porygon Z. It's just if Nobra stays in with their Porygon Z against SNG's Ambipom. The fake out does come into play, taking 47.5% of the health and flinching the Porygon Z, meaning this move is null and void. 3 damage. But what happens next? Does Nobra stay in with the Porygon Z? Potentially going for even a Focus Blast if they have it. I have not seen a Focus Blast on any Porygon Zs this tournament so far. But even a Tri-Attack could potentially be done for that status effect potential of Paralysis, Freeze, or Burn. Either 3 of those would be absolutely amazing in putting this battle in Nobra's favour. Cloyster comes out instead. What does this Porygon Z do? It goes for the Tri-Attack, doing 75% damage. That does take down the Cloyster. The Cloyster is sacked straight off the bat due to the chip damage of Stealth Rock. The Ambipom comes back out, taking Stealth Rock damage. The Fake Out will not kill this Porygon Z. The Porygon Z last time took 47.5%, as you can see right there. And Porygon Z currently has 52%. It would have survived, but they do go for the switch into Empoleon. With the U-turn coming out on S&G's side of the field, what are they going to switch into? I would assume either Blastoise or Venusaur here. The Venusaur would be tricky due to the Ice Beam that Empoleon will definitely be running. Blastoise could potentially get a free Shell Smash here, but that is at the risk of Scald. No, Druddigon comes into play instead. If an Ice Beam is clicked, this is very risky. Unless S&G is calling Nobra's bluff and assuming they don't have Ice Beam. But I believe I've seen it. I believe I've seen the Ice Beam of Empoleon in the previous game. The Ice Beam does come out doing 65%. That does not take down the Druddigon. The Stealth Rock does come out from the Druddigon in return, however, meaning hazards are now on both sides of the field. The Ice Beam does now take down the Druddigon, finalizing that Stealth Rock was its last move of this game. Nobra does have a massive advantage just looking at the status of the teams at the moment. Being very healthy. I know Porygon Z is at 52, Empoleon's at 87, but the team is very healthy, especially in comparison to S&G's side of the field. Ambipom is also on 76% health, but Blastoise and Venusaur are currently untouched. This will be a very interesting turn because Empoleon could stay in 2 Ice Beam, but then risk getting a fat Giga Drain in return. Scyther could come in to take 50% from Stealth Rocks, but also nullifying a Giga Drain, being 4 times resistant to it. But no, instead Porygon Z comes out instead. The Sleep Powder comes into play, which is avoided! That is massive in this game, where the game is so heavily favoured towards Nobra at the moment. A Sleep Powder could have been the game. That could be it. That one miss. With Venusaur now taking 50% from Tri-Attacks. Giga Drain being returned to take out the Porygon Z, but it is not going to be able to recover as much health as it took from that Tri-Attack. The Krookodile could Crunch or EQ. I do not remember if Venusaur is weak to Earthquake. I believe it is due to its poison typing. It seems like it was neutral, to be honest. And the Krookodile is able to take it out, getting that Moxie bonus of +1 attack now. Ambipom comes back into play. I can only assume that the Fake Out is going to be coming as well. Does that mean that Krookodile is switched out to protect it? I would potentially go into Scyther here. I don't know what Scyther offers with Stealth Rock being up. It's being so weak to Stealth Rock. The Fake Out could potentially take it out as well. No, Donphan comes out instead, which is interesting. Potentially getting rid of the hazards with a Rapid Spin. Is that what Nobra is after? I don't know if they survive a superpower, which I believe Abipom might be running. They definitely live a double edge here. Donphan does have a lot of defense and will of course be resistant. So the double edge does come out, it does 58% and Donphan does survive. The rapid spin comes out in return, removing hazards off the field and raising the speed of this Donphan. If they have Ice Shard by any chance, then that would be massive. But we know that this Donphan... Does it have Head Smash, or was that the other Donphan? This may have Head Smash. We know it has rapid speed. I believe we know it has EQ. I do not know about any other moves, however. The Quick Attack comes in, taking down the Donphan, however, leaving it in a 3v2 scenario. But S&G's Mons are very, very weak here. Does the Scyther outspeed the Abipom? That would go a long way into winning this battle if Ambipom is able to get the double edge off and take down this Scyther, which it cannot, as Scyther goes for the Quick Attack, taking down the Ambipom and leaving it in a 1v3 scenario. In this situation, I would Shell Smash. 100%. But you do have to survive 2 moves. I do not believe Scyther Quick Attacks now. I believe it attacks first, potentially with X-Scissor. Or Acrobatics. That is a massive move. That just takes out the Blastoise straight off the bat, meaning that Nobra has won this game. S&G, you played fantastically throughout this tournament, but Nobra has been able to defeat you to take the entire tournament for himself, winning the 6x31, if he so chooses, Spiritomb and the 1000 RP reward, with S&G taking the 500 RP reward. Very big GG for those games. I've very much enjoyed the whole of the tournament. It was wonderful watching you guys, and I very much look forward to potentially watching you guys again in another tournament. But yeah, GG, and very well played. Hi everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you would like to see more of this content in the future. And if you would like to catch my streams live, you can do so by searching twitch.tv/Samax or by clicking the link in the top of the description. I very much look forward to seeing you all again very soon. Bye bye!